Okay, all right.
So welcome back to the SNHU Online Weekly podcast. My name is Giovanni, and of course, I'm a freshman at Southern New Hampshire University. I'm studying computer science. So today we're going to review Module 4 and kind of talk about some things that went down in Module 4. And I'll kind of just get to the point with Module 4 as to not make this podcast extremely long today. So the first thing that we needed to talk about is we had to finally present our thesis statement. So before I get into our thesis statement, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of information about our sponsor today. So if you don't know, of course, our sponsor for today's show is none other than Anchor. It is the easiest way to make a podcast. Of course, as you guys know, as I talk about each week, it is free. Okay. You can create, record all inside of the app. Of course, I use a external system, but you certainly can do that all inside of Anchor. They will take care of the distribution for you, so you don't have to worry about any of that. They get your stuff out to, like my stuff is on Spotify. They take care of the Apple Podcast and wherever else, Stitcher and those type of things. They get it out for you. So if you have not decided to make a podcast, it is 2021. What are you waiting on? Anyway, thank you guys so much again, Anchor, for sponsoring me. So glad to have you guys on board. All right, welcome back. So let's talk about this thesis statement. So we had to go through, put a thesis statement together, and they had to do it in a very specific manner. So for me, I struggled initially trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about. Of course, you guys know my paper is about STEM education, okay, science, engineering, mathematics, technology, and specifically in kind of three areas. So my focus for this particular paper is on proving to a education board that STEM education should be required for ninth graders all the way up until seniors, so that children are given an opportunity to prepare for a workforce that is ultimately coming in 2030. Which will require just about everybody to be able to know how to code. It is coming, people. So that's what this paper is arguing the point of. And so I brought in three different kind of points that supported that. So the thesis statement for me, my struggle was trying to narrow it down. I had like 7 points that I wanted to put in there. And then I had to realize, like, in my thesis statement needed to present. And then I had to, of course, in the rest of my paper, go through and prove those points. So we did have to go through a little bit of working on annotating our sources this time as well, but not as much in this week. This week focused on basically two things. You needed to go through, write your thesis statement. So you had to break down, give your 3 points. Of course, I had to trim mine down from 7. Then you had to go through and write your first draft. So I just finished writing the first draft. So I wanted to come in and give you guys like live information as to, it was in my head. The writing of it is so much easier because each week you have been going through doing pieces and parts of it, the writing plan, annotating the sources, going through and doing the crapo test from last week. All of those things have made it so much easier to be able to write the paper because, and ultimately, I wrote the paper before I ever started writing my first draft. What I did figure out in my first draft, some things that I want to focus on going through is I have 2 very strong points. My first point is, students should be required to go through STEM classes, 9th grade. That's my first point. My second point is that some of the larger, like Apple, Google, those type of places should be able to go through and provide, because they already have the infrastructure, the trainers, they already have the means to be able to help lower income and underserved communities be able to get STEM programs off the ground. Oftentimes that's not done inside of public schools. And so my paper is, of course, arguing the fact of that. The third point that I have is that educators that focus on STEM should be required to have real world experience. So they should be not someone who just decided they wanted to study STEM, but has never worked in any field. Let's say, like me, for example, if I wanted to be an educator, I don't feel that I should be teaching and motivating students just because I went through school to learn how to educate people when I've not had any type of job or any type of background in, science. I have nothing in technology. Now only thing that I have is education. Don't have anything in engineering. Don't have anything in mathematics. I just went to school because I wanted to be a school teacher and then decided I was going to teach STEM. I think that there should be some background to that. That person should have some real world experience because then they can help prepare students properly. So those are the 3 points that my paper went through and just finished the first draft. So that's done and out there. So I appreciate you guys spending a short time. I know this is not a long podcast today, but I just wanted to come in live with kind of my thoughts and make sure you guys had that information as it was in my head. So I will catch up with you guys next week. Of course, we will be going in, and I believe we're dealing with sources next week, but I'll let you know. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Add it up.